Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build in Evergreen Harbor. And today's build is actually a starter home, and it is base game and eco lifestyle only. I definitely wanted to make a starter home. That has been a really fun challenge for me. I made a few starter homes probably about a month ago at this point that weren't pack restricted or anything like that, but this one's fun because if you do only have base game and the eco lifestyle pack, you will be able to download this home and nothing will be missing and it'll be fully functional, and to me that's really exciting. So I did want this home to kind of like emulate and resemble the homes around it in this little neighborhood. And now, I have to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what the footprint is at this time in this particular save file while I'm building. I feel as though it is a green eco footprint, but all of the homes like surrounding this one, like on the street, haven't really changed yet. It's not at that point in transformation, so it does still resemble them, but like when you actually change the footprint, the rest of the homes may look entirely different. So for right now it matches, and I was really excited about this one because it comes in at around 22, well actually a little bit under 22,000 simoleons. The lot itself costs 750 simoleons, so obviously that was taken into account for that final expense, I suppose you could say. And the 22,000 simoleon household funds is designated for a household with at least 2 sims. So this is mainly for a couple, I suppose. I mean, that could be any couple of sims that you'd like, but for myself, if I do end up keeping this in my game, I think I actually have a couple in mind that I would love to move into this little starter home. But as you can see, I'm in the debug menu pulling out these fence items, and these were from Eco Lifestyle. So I don't know, I just really like how it came out, at least this little fenced in area. And this does strongly resemble the home that was originally on the slot. I mean, it's like literally the same design in regards to the house. And there was like this little kind of like side yard that they had fenced in as well. But I wanted to kind of bulldoze the whole thing and kind of start from scratch. So I did kind of struggle with the landscaping at first, just because it wasn't looking very real, I suppose. I kind of pride myself on kind of making landscaping look realistic, but this just looked really odd. Like you could see the breaks in the bushes and whatnot, and it just didn't really work for me. I end up swapping them out for another debug bush that we kind of have, which again, you can actually see the breaks in it, but it just looks a little bit more realistic. I don't know why. That's just my perspective. You guys can totally disagree with me if you'd like, but in the end, I liked how the landscaping came out. It's pretty colorful, it's pretty lush, and considering that it seems as though the goal in the Eco Lifestyle pack is to have your neighborhood become green, like have a green eco footprint. So I thought this kind of fit in a little bit, but I do really like how it came out, so I hope that you guys enjoy it as well. And the floor plan you'll probably notice too if you have kind of poked around in that original home, that EA home that was on the slot. I mean, the layout for this one is very much the same. Like, it's very similar. I feel like there's only so many different kinds of like floor plans and layouts you can actually make in a house like this. I mean, it's literally just a long rectangle. There's only so much you can do. Like, rooms are just going to be square, or else you're just not going to have enough room to really place a lot of items that you might want. So yeah, it's a very familiar layout, I suppose. It's not really going to be a surprise to you guys, but here I'm just kind of wrapping up the landscaping and placing a few different flowers in a few different places just to kind of give it a little bit of color here and there. And using these debug trees and bushes and flowers is just a godsend for making starter homes. So if you guys haven't really delved into that menu at all, I would definitely recommend it if you're trying to ball on a budget, which is exactly what I was trying to do. And another thing too, and I'll mention it as we kind of get onto the interior of the home again, like I'll probably say it like 4 times, but the objects in Eco Lifestyle, at least the fabricated objects that you can unlock with the BB Show Hidden Objects cheat, are super affordable, and that actually made this starter home much easier to make and furnish and not look totally empty and kind of bland. Like, I feel with just base game, it's kind of a challenge sometimes to make the homes look really cozy and comfy and lived in and kind of cluttered the way that I like to build, at least. I mean, that's just me. That's personal preferences. I love to clutter up my builds and make them look really lived in and homey and personalized, but you know, with starter homes, the whole point is that they're not really, right? You're just starting out, so I guess it kind of works. But first I am trying to figure out the layout and kind of just get the wallpaper and flooring down, because it is 4 simoleons per like square for the floor tiles. And I think for the wallpaper, it of course depends on how big the room is, but it's a consistent price throughout. So I wanted to make sure that I got all the essentials down. So I got in the doors and all that fun stuff. And then I started with the kitchen. So I got out the appliances, and I used these base game counters and stove that are the cheapest that we have in game. I didn't use the cheapest refrigerator just because it kind of looked a little gross, and I didn't want this to be like a gross home by any means, but I wanted there to be some minor quote unquote upgrades. And I did use this overhead light from Eco Lifestyle because it was a lot cheaper and provided so much more light compared to some of the base game ones. So I actually really like explaining these decisions because I learned a lot about the different items and the costs of them, and really how far you can push them and use them in not only a base game Eco Lifestyle restricted build, but also for like a starter build. So that was really cool. And as you can see, I went into the debug menu and I pulled out a bunch of these like jars and vases and bottles that we got with the Eco Lifestyle pack for the debug menu. And they made great kitchen clutter. I also pulled out a handful of candles for not only the kitchen, but also the living room, which I believe I actually do at the end, just to provide some more light too, because we can't really afford lights, and those candles were 0 simoleons, so that was kind of amazing. I'm also pulling out some garden clutter, and I periodically pull out some tools because my thought was the couple that may move into the starter home is going to spend some time fixing it up and making different renovations. So they have like a freaking table saw. No, not a table saw, but they have like a saw, and they have like a hammer and stuff like that just like laying out on their TV console table because maybe they were doing some renovations, or like maybe they built that console table themselves. Like, I don't really know. It really depends on how you want to tell whatever story you want to tell. But that was kind of my thought. And I finished cluttering up those little shelves there, and I placed this little notebook on the kitchen table as well. Maybe it was like a grocery list. And you know, those kinds of details, I love them, but sometimes when I'm doing bigger builds or builds that don't require me to pay as much attention to restrictions and stuff like that, I kind of forget those separate little elements, and I'm trying to be better about it. I can't promise I'll remember all the time, but I thought that that was kind of a nice little idea. And then I was very, very choosy with artwork because one, we don't have a lot for base game. We got none with Eco Lifestyle. We got wall decorations, not like paintings or like artwork, I would say. And it's really, really expensive. Super expensive. I was relieved that these curtains, I think, are like 30 simoleons, so putting curtains in the entire build was actually really affordable, which I loved. That TV is maybe 60 simoleons, something in the ballpark between like 40 and 60. I mean, thank you, thank goodness. That lamp was cheap, that chair was like 60 simoleons. Like, it's not that expensive to have the fabricated furniture in here, which I was so grateful for. It made this so much more fun and lively and kind of cozy. I used a lot of the orange and yellows in the living room as well as in the bedroom, and those colors to me are very warm and welcoming, so that's why I use them so much. You guys may not like those colors, and there are of course different fabricated items. You do have to actually find the item in the menu of a different color. Like these items don't have swatches since they're fabricated distinctively with particular dyes in game when you make them. So I chose the colors, and if you wanted to change those out, you could just go into the debug menu and find the swatch that you like and replace it and whatnot. So that could be something that you could do if you don't really like the color scheme. But I was able to give them a couple of mirrors, they have a dresser, and they even have a computer. They don't have any of the skill building items that came with Eco Lifestyle. In fact, I don't think there are really any skill building items in here, but they do have a computer and a bookshelf. And if you do have a computer, you can at least be a freelance like maker. You might be able to use a makerspace or like a neighbor's equipment or something to make the items you need to do to kind of start out. So that's kind of an idea. And I haven't done that myself, but it could work. There's also a second bedroom upstairs that is totally unfurnished just because one, definitely didn't have the budget for it, and two, that could evolve into like a child's room, or it could be like a second bathroom or something. So it gives you guys a little bit of flexibility to grow in the home as well and not have to like strip it down or move somewhere else, which I thought was kind of a nice idea as well. And now I'm just kind of wrapping up a few little decorations downstairs. I end up placing a coffee table in front of the sofa as well. In fact, I choose the one from Eco Lifestyle, but I do size it down once using the shift and bracket key because the thing is freaking huge and we don't need it to be that big, but we did want to place some candles on it. So we had to use the OMSP shelf here and grab the candles, put them at the right level to fit on the center. And I was going to put these kind of like jugs of juice on top of the fridge, but I didn't really like them sized up, and I kind of just shoved them in the corner here. And now that I'm watching this back, like I don't really want them there, but I also give them a bunch of boxes and containers of like juice and kombucha because, again, zero simoleons, and maybe they make juice. Maybe that's how they're trying to like get their start in this neighborhood or something like that, which I kind of liked that idea. And if they don't want to sell it, they have it to drink, I suppose, so that's exciting. And now I'm kind of wrapping up the living room and then moving on to some of the miscellaneous decorations that I have out in the kind of like side yard. There are no gardening plots or anything, but if your sim is handy, maybe they can make some, stuff like that. But yeah, it was super fun. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this. Right now I'm kind of going around trying to see what I can sacrifice because I kept on going over budget. And I had to like finagle some things around and delete some things, move some things, play around with it a little bit. I also forgot a curtain. I mean, you think of the flower boxes on the home, those could be deleted too to get some extra simoleons. They're upwards of 100 simoleons each. So it's all about sacrifices that you're willing to make and what you want your build to kind of look like. So I also realized I forgot the bathroom. So that's the last thing I do, which is why I had to make so many adjustments because I was like, oh my God, I forgot the toilet in the shower. What is wrong with me? But that is pretty much it for the build. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!
Let go, rain. It's not your song to sing no more. Goodbye, blame. Weights can't lift you up, but you can find a way to drop them. Can you feel the wind? Say you do, it's how it all begins. Then comes reason, then purpose. Well, you will find your way. In the meantime, may the sun bless you with its rays. It's how we learn. It has to hurt, it has to hurt. Every single turn. Don't beg your pardon. You're not someone's victim. It has to hurt, it has to hurt. You can ask spring how it is when the buds are bursting. You can watch the birds when they fly